Gaslighting. You've probably heard the word, but hearing it and recognizing it when it's happening to you, those are two very different things. Here's what it actually is. Gaslighting is when someone makes you question your own reality, not by arguing with you, not by being obviously wrong, but by slowly, quietly making you feel like you're the one who's confused. You remember a conversation, they say it never happened. You bring up something that hurt you, they call you dramatic. You point out a pattern, they look at you like you're crazy, and they do it so calmly, so consistently, that eventually you stop trusting yourself and start trusting their version instead. That's the whole game. Not one big lie, 100 small ones, delivered so casually that you start thinking, maybe I am overreacting, maybe I am remembering it wrong, maybe I'm the problem. And the scarier part, it works in every kind of relationship. A partner, a parent, a boss, wherever there's a power dynamic, gaslighting can live there. The pattern is always the same. Make you doubt, keep you confused, keep you quiet. Because someone who doesn't trust their own mind is a lot easier to control. That feeling in your gut that something is off. Because that feeling, it's usually right. You don't need them to admit it for it to be real. You just need to stop letting someone else narrate your own life. Love bombing. Love bombing. It feels like the best thing that's ever happened to you, until it isn't. Here's how it starts. Someone enters your life and they are all in. From day one, constant texts, big compliments, making you feel like you're the most interesting person they've ever met. They remember everything you say. They make grand gestures. They talk about the future like it's already decided. It feels intense. It feels electric. It feels like finally someone who really gets you. And that feeling is real. That's the thing. The warmth you feel is genuine. It's the intention behind it that isn't. Because love bombing isn't love. It's a setup. It's someone flooding you with affection so fast, so overwhelming, that you get attached before you've even had time to actually know them. They're not falling for you. They're building leverage. And once the attachment is there, the dynamic shifts. The constant texting slows down. The compliments get replaced with criticism. The person who made you feel so special starts making you feel like you have to earn that version of them back. And because you remember how good it felt at the start, you try, you bend, you excuse things you normally wouldn't. That's exactly what it was designed to do. Real love doesn't need to rush. It doesn't show up at full intensity on day 3. Genuine interest builds slowly. It doesn't arrive all at once like someone trying to close a deal. So if someone is moving faster than feels normal, if the attention feels almost too good, slow down. Not because good things can't happen quickly, but because real connection doesn't need to overwhelm you to keep you around. The right person won't need to flood you into staying. Guilt tripping. Everyone's done it. Everyone's had it done to them. But there's a difference between someone expressing hurt and someone using your guilt as a leash. Here's how it works. You do something, or sometimes you don't even do anything, and suddenly the entire emotional weight of the situation lands on you. Not through a conversation, not through honesty, through a look, a sigh, a no, it's fine, said in a way that makes it very clear it is not fine, and you feel it instantly. That pull in your chest, that need to fix it, to apologize, to make it go away, even when, somewhere in the back of your mind, you're not sure you actually did anything wrong. That's the mechanism. Guilt is a real emotion. It exists for a reason. It's supposed to signal when we've genuinely hurt someone we care about, but a guilt tripper hijacks that signal. It shows up quietly. After everything I've done for you, I just thought you cared. The message underneath is always the same. You owe me. Silent treatment. No yelling, no argument, just nothing. And somehow nothing feels worse than anything they could have actually said. That's the point. Because silence, when it's weaponized, isn't about needing space. It's not someone taking time to process or cool down. It's a message, delivered loud and clear without a single word. The message is, you messed up. And until I decide you've suffered enough, you don't exist to me. And the person on the receiving end, they go into overdrive, replaying every conversation, every word, every moment, trying to figure out what they did, sending the message that goes unanswered, finding reasons to walk past the same room, slowly shrinking themselves down just to get back to normal, which is exactly what it's designed to do. Silent treatment works because connection is a basic human need. Being shut out by someone you care about doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it physically hurts. Studies have shown that social rejection activates the same parts of the brain as physical pain. So when someone uses silence against you, they're not just being cold, they're pressing on something deeply wired into you, moving the goalposts. You did everything they asked, and somehow it's still not enough. That's not a coincidence. Here's what it looks like. They have a problem with something you do, so you change it. You put in the effort. You adjust. You show up differently. And for a moment it seems like it worked. But then there's a new issue, a new standard, a new thing you're not quite getting right. And you find yourself working even harder, trying even more, chasing a version of good enough that keeps moving further away every time you get close. It feels like failure, like you're the problem, like no matter how much you grow or try or give, it's never quite right. But here's the thing. It was never about the goalpost. It was always about keeping you running, because someone who is constantly striving to meet your standards, constantly in a state of proving themselves, that person is easy to manage. They're focused on earning approval instead of asking questions. They're too busy trying to be enough to notice what's actually happening. Moving the goalpost is about control dressed up as standards. The boss who keeps raising the bar the second you clear it, never once acknowledging that you cleared it, and the damage it does is quiet but deep. It trains you to doubt your own effort, to feel perpetually behind, to hand someone else the authority to define your worth. Isolation. It doesn't start with locked doors. It starts with a comment about your friend. Just one. Small. Almost reasonable. And that's what makes it so hard to catch. Here's how it goes. Slowly, quietly, the people in your life start to feel like problems. Your friends are a bad influence. Our family doesn't really understand you like they do. That coworker you're close with, there's just something off about them, don't you think? Each comment on its own sounds almost like concern, like they're looking out for you, like they just care that much. But what's actually happening is a slow, deliberate shrinking of your world. Every relationship outside of them gets reframed as a threat, and the more you pull away from other people, the more you have only one person left to turn to, them. And once they're your only source of support, validation, connection, the dynamic shifts completely, because now you need them in a way you didn't before. Now leaving feels impossible. Now disagreeing feels dangerous. Where would you even go? That's the architecture of isolation. It's not built in a day. It's built one small wedge at a time. One canceled plan, one guilt trip after you came home from seeing family.
Future faking, everything is always almost perfect. The relationship is always just about to become what you need it to be, so you stay because it sounds so close. Here's how it works. They paint a picture of the future, a plan, a promise. We'll move in together soon. I'm going to change. Things will be different.
And it feels real, so you give them more time. You ignore your doubts, because the future they're describing is exactly what you want, but it never arrives. The timeline keeps moving, soon becomes months, sometimes years, and whenever you're ready to leave, a new promise appears, just enough to keep you invested. That's the key. Future faking isn't really about the future. It's about keeping you attached in the present by selling you a version of tomorrow that never comes. The difference between a real promise and future faking is action. Real promises come with consistent effort. Future faking comes with beautiful words and no movement. So stop focusing on what they say the future will look like. Look at what they're doing today, because someone who truly wants to build something with you is already building it. Words are easy. Actions tell the truth. Playing the victim, they're not the one who got hurt, but somehow, by the end of the conversation, they are. You bring up something that genuinely bothered you. You thought it through, worked up the courage to say it, and you're trying to have an honest conversation. But suddenly the focus shifts. They're upset. They're hurt. They're talking about something you did months ago. Before you know it, you're the one apologizing. You walk away confused, like you started with a problem and somehow ended up carrying theirs too. That's the pattern. Accountability gets turned into an attack. The original issue disappears, and they never have to address it. What makes this difficult is that their emotions can seem completely genuine. The tears, the hurt, the wounded reaction may be real, but there's an important difference. Real hurt still makes room for conversation. It still wants resolution. Someone playing the victim wants the subject changed. They want the pressure off. So learn to hold the thread. Acknowledge their feelings without abandoning your point. I understand this is difficult for you, but I still need us to talk about what I brought up, because your feelings don't become less important just because someone else made the conversation about theirs. And those are 8 of the most common manipulation tactics people use, some deliberately, some without even realizing it. The goal was never to make you paranoid. It was to make you clear, because the moment you can name what's happening, it loses most of its power over you. Stay aware, trust yourself, and if something feels off, it probably is.